I don't know many artists who truly represent their hometown as well as Skyzoo does Brooklyn. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Mob. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash that like button for your boy. Hitting the like button is greatly appreciated. Also, subscribe if you haven't. But today, I'm going to hit y'all with my thoughts on this new project from Skyzoo entitled Keep Me Company. Bed-Stuy representative Skyzoo. He is all things Brooklyn, just like a Spike Lee flick. Now, this unsung New York wordsmith has been putting it down since the mid to late 2000s, really giving us a consistent and underrated discography. The thing about Skyzoo is that he is going to give you those conceptual albums that play out like movies. His lyrics tend to have many layers or Easter eggs, like people say nowadays, and a lot of his material will give you that nostalgic feel. And of course, there's a strong sense of community pride and substance. So this is Skyzoo's first drop since his conceptual 2023 release, Mind of a Saint, in which he rapped from the perspective of Franklin Saint Snowfall. But on this new one, Keep Me Company, Skyzoo is giving us way more of a personal project. It contains 13 tracks lasting approximately 50 minutes. There is a wide variety of lesser known producers used, but with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track by track breakdown. The opener, Community Service, it sets a jazzy boom bap tone out the gate with the heavy sax presence and the calming pianos. It just feels like the soundtrack to taking a stroll through Brooklyn on a chilly Sunday morning. Skyzoo says, yo, my Av made me look at a Jeep like a Ferrari and still do for all the uniques that's in my lobby. So that right there is a reference to Raising Kanan, played by Joey Badass. Skyzoo also talks about their current state in the rap game. Too many pots, too many drops, too many nerds calling too many classics. Well, that's too many, not. Obviously, he's not real thrilled with some of those trends. There's also some pro-Brooklyn lines like a Bed-Stuy Clinton Hill kid with dual citizenship, as well as the best thing out of my side since Valletta and Gloria kids while trying to duck all this coroner shit. And at the end, there's some conscious spoken word from J. Rose. Yeah, as a whole, this has a real grown man classy vibe, and it reminds us how vital community service is to Skyzoo and how he's not afraid to put in that work. Track 2, Finders Keepers, continues with the mid-tempo jazz rap production. We get some knocking, muddied pianos and more trumpet layers. Skyzoo reflects back when early gentrification felt like espionage. There were a couple references to the movie Belly, and Skyzoo talks about playing Stove God in the whip in front of his son, but his guilt disappeared when he threw on Black Star, because obviously Black Star would be more uplifting and conscious, the opposite of Stove God. And at the end of the track, Skyzoo says, hurry up and buy was the tradition, but waiting could become what ifs, like the commission. Now, 90s heads know exactly what the commission refers to, the super group that could have been. Next is Home Away from Home, which has some vibraphones on deck, and you get the slight saxophone and radiant keys. This also repurposes the classic lines, I made it like that, I bought it like that, I'm living like that, from the Ultramagnetic MCs, later used by Nas in 9-6. I really love that addition to this track. Some sharp lines were, I never knew a LOX tape that ain't blow a speaker, and I never knew of a first kill that became a keeper. And he does reflect on how wild it was growing up in BK with fear is just a concept. The era we grew in, they was airing out the projects, how you get up out them, but be in them, shit is complex. After this is Allende at the March. My apologies if I mispronounced that, but here he is reminiscing to when his dad attended the Million Man March in 95 over an atmospheric nocturnal beat that still has the trumpet layers. Skyzoo really loves having that saxophone on almost every track. So we get some ill Vivid reflections and storytelling. Skyzoo says, my tag became Clinton and Washington wallpapers, but it still is. So yeah, Andy at the March was a cool pro-black track that had a dreamy quality, but intricate lyricism, no doubt. After this, we get Drug-Free School Zone, and instrumentally, it offers up a great change in pace as it has a much darker, grittier instrumental. Skyzoo has a pretty dope reference to the movie Fresh, a personal favorite movie for me. Live from the side of the fence that was out of bounds, and the scene out of Fresh was more than you might allow. You busted dope moves, I'm more with the quiet downs. It's funny what your day in the park just might have found. So y'all remember Chucky saying I busted dope moves, and then Fresh looked at him like, yo, you simple, man. So I would have Drug-Free School Zone as one of my favorites because it was gutter and a nice breakup from the soothing jazz rap. But we do get a return to the live jazzy instrumentation on Prayers for the Customers. It has a laid back beat for Skyzoo to do his sharp social commentary. The customers here could literally mean the fiends, or it could be the consumers who buy into hip hop culture, but the customers could mean something else. I think I probably need more listens. And that's the thing about Skyzoo's music. Sometimes I feel slow trying to absorb it quickly, all the hidden layers in his music, and it doesn't help that the lyrics here were not up on Genius, so it was just more time consuming for me to hear it and then dissect them. But I did like the lines, the world is a ghetto parading herself as a corner girl in stilettos. That was fire. What follows is another standout courtesy call with Chuck D. Now here we have a menacing piano riff. It's murky, it's hypnotic. This one is in fact a banger, and Chuck D's presence on the hook is so urgent. Skyzoo says, I'm DMX in a pool hall with a broken muzzle. Just the imagery there. Next is another great moment on the project, Esoteric, which has a mystical vocal harmony and a crisp drum pattern. I also really enjoyed the scratching, which incorporated some Hove, Prodigy, and OC. Skyzoo says, now everybody want to rhyme like Sky, but won't admit they was inspired by Sky. I'm like, all right, that's fine. The same way half y'all was inspired by Ka, but ain't say you was a saint till your buys was given. Obviously here, Skyzoo was bigging up himself for his influence, but also paying homage to the late, great Brooklyn legend Ka. And Skyzoo was shouting out Nas with the following bars. Rolling two Phillies together, Nas said they call him oo-wops, busting off the roof out of fear of what was under you, or tied two L's together to get your W. Clever. Immediately after is the Store Runs interlude, which is a phone call between Skyzoo and a girl he's obviously feeling. So there was that flirtatious tone. It does set the scene for the next track. And I was getting some strong Tribe meets Dilla vibes from Record Store. Record Store is a high point, and it is a smooth jazz rap bop, which does interpolate Jay-Z's Girls, Girls, Girls on the hook. But the context here is that Sky is loving girls in a record store. So Skyzoo is name dropping a lot of classic artists and classic albums from different genres. Yeah, this one is for the music lovers. Definitely a song that music heads will relate to, and it had that cinematic quality, how Skyzoo was able to paint that picture almost like it was a music video. After this is Sleeping Beauty, another track that had a deeper hidden meaning than I was able to fully grasp at the moment. It appears to be a romantic track on the surface, but I think he is hinting to something else as well. But I do like the rich twinkling pianos. They were on the melancholic side. Still, I will have to come back to this one again, but the production was gorgeous. The second to last track is Winds for the Father, a song which thematically feels like an extension of his Milestones EP from 2020 that was about fatherhood. It is the perfect backdrop for Skyzoo to be a little more vulnerable and to speak on not only his father, but Skyzoo's own missteps as a dad, but also to focus on his son, who is the future. Skyzoo vividly reflects back to a time when he was struggling for money. My son saw me counting shit twice in front of a furnace. My pops went from serving the field to feel surface. And on the third verse, it seems like he's penning a letter to his son while paying homage to both Nas and Jay-Z with to my seed, may I lead you into no greater evil. Believe coming like we in front of the steeple. May the evils only show up if a Snoop sample should reach you. That was fire. So the first few lines are taken directly from Nas's On the Real, and the second part references Jay's classic The Evils track where Snoop was sampled. Then the project closes out with Jazz in the projects, and it's an epic way to wrap things up. They bring back the live instrumentation. It's a jazzy, vibe-heavy closer that just evokes the feelings of walking around in Brooklyn on a rainy day. On this record, he is not only dropping some jewels, which he does break down basically bar for bar on the second half of the track, but he is also getting at the main theme that jazz is integral to the Black community, and how even though it may be appreciated by some, it really embodies and encompasses everything around you, and that is the beauty of jazz in the project. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of 4 mics. It might go up higher, it might not, but I don't think it's lower than a 4. On the lyrical front, there are massive quotables, and Skyzoo did give us more of a personal and vulnerable project than on his last couple drops, but some themes remain similar, like fatherhood, community empowerment, and just reminiscing on what it was like to grow up in Brooklyn, the old Brooklyn specifically. The production was consistently jazz rap through and through. The sax presence definitely created a vibe, but it did make some of the beats less distinguishable for me as a result. But I will say that that live instrumentation element will be a major plus for some listeners. And I do have to admit the production did grow on me with repeated listens, because on the first listen, I thought the lyrics are incredible, but the production was a little too laid back, a little too subdued. And I still wouldn't have minded the inclusion of one more banger or gutter track like the Method Man song, which didn't make the album. But this is a well-written, mature, thought-provoking listen that will not disappoint Skyzoo fans. Skyzoo remains so darn consistent, never failing to deliver that food for thought that we all love him for. Favorite tracks include Finders Keepers, Home Away from Home, Drug Free School Zone, Courtesy Call, Esoteric, Record Store, Winds of the Father, and Jazz in the Project. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I am signing out as always. It's peace and blessings. Skyzoo, keep me company.